Welcome to Undercurrents of Romance, the show that celebrates every subgenre of romantic fiction. In each episode, I peel back the layers of your favorite love stories and chat with the talented authors who bring them to life. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn. Now, let's dive in with today's guest. Hello, romantics. I'm here with USA Today best-selling author Kimberly Kincaid to talk about her new romantic suspense, Spark. Welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
My pleasure. I've been looking forward to this interview ever since you accepted my invitation. So this is going to be a lot of fun for me.
Me too.
Great. Well, from what I read on your website, it sounds like you love to cook. And I have to ask, since
I
we
do.
just passed Halloween here, did you whip up anything exciting for the holiday?
So I have a family favorite over here. I make lasagna rolls and meatballs. And
Ah,
so that's
sounds
always when
good.
we shift into like from warmer weather into kind of fall vibes over here. And I'm in Northern Virginia, so it's been nice and 60 degrees, 50 degrees. It's perfect for something that's a little heartier. So I made lasagna rolls last week. We do a lot of chili. My husband cooks a lot,
Ah.
puts a lot on the smoker and the grill. So I'm happy to hand the reins over to him for for half the time. And when we come together, it's always good eats over here at my house.
Well, I'm not too far from you. I'm in Western North Carolina, so I'm going to pop up there
Open
unexpectedly
invite,
one
open
day.
invite. Yeah.
I love lasagna. I've never had a lasagna roll, so that's very intriguing
Oh
to me.
yeah, yeah. They're
All right.
easier to do than putting out
Are
some of the
they?
flat sheets. I just put all the filling in and roll it up almost like a Swiss roll, and then we
Uh,
stack them in the pan. And I feel like there's more room for the goodness that way.
oh gosh. Yeah, that I'm gonna have to look up. Yeah, see, I'm getting hungry now, so this is great. This is great. All right. Well, before we dive into Spark, which is an amazing story, I can't wait for us to
Oh,
talk
thank you.
about it. I'd love to hear more about you and your writing journey, just whatever you're comfortable with sharing.
Sure, of course. So I have been writing fiction to publish since 2010 is when I started writing, and then 2011 is when I realized that I wanted to make a career of it. I wear a lot of hats. I have a day job as a writer, but not writing fiction, so I'm kind
Okay.
of I do all kinds of writing. But fiction has always really had my heart, and romance specifically. So I started joining some local writers groups, and attended national conferences, and sold my first three-book series, which was contemporary romance with no suspense, in 2012, and that series was published in 2013, 14, and 15.
Nice.
And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I went fully indie in 2016 and just really haven't looked back. That was my first firefighter year too. And
Yeah.
it was just once I wrote the first one, I knew that I was going to create this whole giant world full of first responders and firefighters. So that has definitely been my happy place for gosh, 2016. I'm going to have my
I
10-year
know.
anniversary, in 2026, which is it's not a bad place to be.
No, it's when you say 2016, I still in my head it just feels like a few years ago, but then when you start
Right?
adding it up, it's it's more than a
I
few years
know.
ago, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's yeah, time needs to slow down for
I
sure.
know. I have too many firefighters to write, and I feel like there's just not going to be enough time to get all, 1,000 of them on the page. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's my understanding Spark is the second book in the Remington Rescue Squad series,
yep, yep,
which I think is it's a spinoff from another series of yours. And
yes.
maybe if you could just tell us how this book fits into kind of your world, and then whatever you want to tell us about Chloe and Tyler, so that I don't do any spoilers. Okay?
I know that's always the tough part.
It
So,
is.
I created the world of Remington with my very first Remington World book, Skin Deep, in 2016. And at the time, I thought I would write one four-book series, and that would be it, and I'd move on to something else. And then it became this bigger world where there were not just firefighters, but there were rescue squad firefighters who kind of have different responsibilities and things like that. And then there were medics, and then there were detectives, and it just grew into this big world where everyone clamored for a story. So by the time that I wrote the second book in that series, I knew it was going to be a larger world. There are a couple of different entry points in there, and every single book that I write always stands alone. So
Yeah.
if you pick up Spark as your very first introduction to the Remington world, there aren't going to be any major spoilers in there, other than the other couples end up happily ever after, which
Yeah.
I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, in
We kind of
romance,
know,
that's kind of a given.
right? Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so I think, people could pick up Spark. It is, for me, I'm one of those readers who really just wants to go in that order of, I want to know everybody in chronological order. So those are the, if you're like me, I would say start at the very beginning of Remington and go from skin deep through Station 17. And then
Hmm.
there is a flow chart that I'm actually updating right now that's going up on my website,
Nice.
very, very soon. That is kind of like, start here. It's like one of those little maps, and then you go through it. It ends up with Spark, which is the latest book. Chloe is related to one of the rescue squad firefighters, who is her brother, and then of course Tyler is his best friend. So it's got that, my older brother's best friend vibe. They've known each other for a long time.
Mm.
Um, they they are very comfortable around each other, but there's also a bunch of conflict kind of thrown in with the suspense storyline, and that's where I won't get spoilery about that. But
Yeah.
it's got a really deep found family vibe, where they have this bond together that just kind of grows into a romance. And it was really, really fun for me to write these two. They've been waiting for a story for a long time. They've appeared in other books, so um
Y- And when I read, and kind of hearing you talk about it and the excitement in your voice and everything, uh, it was easy to detect that in the story that you had fun writing it, because it was a fun story, even though it's considered a romantic suspense and it has suspenseful parts in it. The relationship between those two, it's like,
yeah.
oh, finally, it felt like finally
Yes.
kind of thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely some pining going on. I think I knew that they were going to be a couple before this series even started, before this sub-series even started. So before the first Remington Rescue Squad book, back when Chloe's older brother Ryan, who actually gets the couple from Ryan's book, they get married in this book, which was a lot of
Yeah.
fun to write because I felt
Yeah.
like I really brought the crew together. It's almost like, if you think about Chicago Fire and Station 19 and Grey's Anatomy and all of those shows kind of coming together under one umbrella,
Yeah.
that's the world. And so I love to put those Easter eggs into the book. So Ryan and his fiance Addison, who had a book, gosh, in 2021, I
Okay.
think. Uh, they are a side couple in this Spark story, and but Chloe and Tyler both appeared in their book years ago, and I did kind of always drop hints that they would get together. And so yeah, there's been all this pining, and it was just really
Anticipation.
nice
Yeah.
to rip off the band-aid and let them finally fall in love with each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, if folks might be a little intimidated about starting all the way at the beginning of the very first series, they could certainly just pick up book
Mhm.
one in this series
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, and
Yep.
go from there, right? So that would
Yes.
be maybe a quicker introduction and
Mhm.
and maybe a little less scary for some folks. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
all of it's good. They're going to get hooked very quickly and then go back and read the very first book for sure. But that might be a quick entry to it. You were talking
Mhm.
about Easter eggs, and I did. You can sense that there are some Easter eggs in
Yes.
there, and it's those are a lot of fun. Why do you think that authors write spin-offs, and why do you
Mhm.
think readers love them and love those Easter eggs and things like that? What does that draw for us, do you think?
I think there's a really nice familiarity I know in my series in particular, but in all the series that I read, the romance series that I love, and even in shows that I watch season after season, I feel like when I open up the books, I know them. I know the characters' quirks. I feel like they are old friends. And the ones that haven't had their romances yet, I am just clamoring for those when I watch a show or when I read a series. And that's what I really tried to create with Remington, was just kind of this big family of first responders who all interact with each other and they have each other's backs, and they're good friends. um and that, yeah, I think when you talk about the different entry points into a series, that's something that I mindfully create at the beginning of every
Yeah.
book, knowing that somebody might be picking this up for the first time. Here's this family that's familiar to people who love them, but you get to know them very quickly in my
Yeah.
books, and it's something that I always try to be really kind of just mindful of, that there are a lot of people who might be meeting Tyler for the first time and
Mhm.
might be meeting Chloe for the first time. So there's familiarity for those people who love the Easter eggs, and yeah, they're so much fun to write. They're probably my favorite things to put in there, other than the end, which I feel like is just the most satisfying thing to finally have a couple come together. But yeah, it's coming home.
Yeah.
You're always welcome at Remington, right? They're always going to pull up a chair for you, and let
Yeah.
you sit in on the family meal, or any of those things that make us feel happy inside when we're reading.
Yeah, it was fun listening to the characters do a little bit of, jibing each other or whatever
Oh
that
yeah,
term is,
right.
it's like a little
Yeah.
bantering and that sort of thing. So that it feels like you're this little fly on the wall almost,
Mhm.
watching this interplay, but you also feel part of it too in a way. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. You did such a great job with that.
Oh, thank you.
Chloe has what I would say a very interesting kind of backstory. There's a
Mhm.
trauma there, and
Yep.
I don't know if that would be a spoiler in another book or not, but can you talk about that maybe just a little bit about how that worked out for her?
Yeah. So, Chloe first appears in her older brother Ryan's book, which is titled The Rogue. It's part of my intelligence unit series. And I'm not going to spoil anything that isn't in the blurb for
Yeah.
that book. Chloe is actually the victim of a stalker, and Ryan, her older brother, works with the intelligence unit and the detective that he eventually falls for. They all work together to keep Chloe safe. So she's got this really complex background as a survivor.
Yeah.
She's tough, and she had to overcome an awful lot in order to heal and move on from that. And so I purposely put distance between Ryan and Addison's book, The Rogue, and Chloe and Tyler's book. I had a lot of people who wanted Chloe and Tyler right away, and I thought about it.
I bet.
But she had a lot of healing to do. And so I put a couple of chronological book years in between The Rogue and Spark. She was finally ready. But she talks about that a lot as
Hmm.
Spark unfolds, and how she has it was hard work for her to become a survivor. And so she's a tough cookie, but she's also vulnerable in that way of having been the victim of a crime, and
Yeah.
having been a trauma victim. And just I felt like it was just a very real thing for her to be able to be open about the trauma that she experienced. And she does that quite a bit in Spark, and teaches Tyler a couple of lessons in that regard
Mm.
about honesty and being open and things like that. So it was really, really nice and so gratifying to let her finally have this shining moment of not just having happily ever after, but she's quite the protector in Spark too.
Yeah.
So letting her kind of take control of that was really, really nice to write.
Yeah, and I don't want to again, I want to be very careful, but it's how you tied it into the story and how how she helped Addison with the suspense part of the plot,
Mhm. Yep.
I thought was just brilliant. I thought that that was just amazing how you tied that in, and so that was great. I wanted to mention there was one other thing. Oh, with her trauma, I was thinking as you were talking about giving her time to recuperate from Ryan's book to her book,
Yep.
I also wondered if it also gave you time to kind of get your mental mindset too,
Yep.
you know, I don't know what your background is in that regard, but if you needed to research it or, you
A
know,
lot.
just kind of getting yourself prepared for that and wanting to do the story right. That is a lot of pressure for an author, and
Yeah.
anybody who hasn't written about that sort of thing, you know, might not quite grasp how much pressure there is for us to get right.
Yeah, I do a lot of research for all my books. I am the kind of author who I have to have a very detailed outline. And so when I first wrote the outline for Spark, I actually got Chloe's personality wrong, and I
Oh.
started writing the book and it wouldn't come together. And I
Mhm.
would get 4 or 5 chapters in and it just wouldn't move. And
Mhm.
that's a little unusual for me because I do so much research and I put so much thought into writing before I actually do it,
Yeah.
that once I usually start, I can it's like pouring out a pitcher, right, full of water, and then it goes everywhere. And so I did start over with Spark because I didn't get her quite right. She hadn't quite healed in the way that I wanted her to have that kind of story. So that was a little unusual for me. She threw me for a loop, and it was all of the trauma based stuff that I realized after I really sat down and unwound all of it. Oh, she's healed more than that. She really has had this time, and so it was an adventure. She kind of gave me some fits in the beginning, and Tyler did too a little bit because of their byplay, and I had to kind of refigure her out.
Mhm.
But I do an extensive amount of research. My internet history is insane. And my husband is always looking at it thinking, what are you looking at for
You're
books? But
putting our
um,
family on the grid here.
yeah, I mean, it always kind of cracks us. And now they all know. I mean, I've been doing
Yeah.
it for long enough that they're kind of like, oh, yeah,
She's at it
mom's
again.
Googling arson again. And yeah. But but yeah, it's striking that balance was important to me and
Yeah.
getting her just right. It was a stutter step to get
Yeah.
this book where it needed to be. But I was so happy. Once it finally started clicking, I was like, oh, okay, now I got you. Now I know who you are. So
Relief. Yeah. Huge relief.
yeah.
Well, one of the things that I like to dive into on this show is finding the story's undercurrent with the author. And it's what I call that second beating heart of the story that tends to flow beneath the lover's story. Uh, what undercurrent is flowing, do you think, between Chloe and Tyler's story?
I love this question so much because they have a lot going on. Um, I think found family, created family. Both Chloe and Tyler have strong family ties in the traditional sense. Um, but there was a whole chunk of this book, and again, this is all in the blurb that you read on the back of the book, so this is not really this is there's no spoilers here. Chloe is both Chloe and Ryan are part of an adopted family, and so they have there are 5 of them, adopted siblings, and so there is a foster family, found family vibe in this book because she is an advocate for a teen who has witnessed a brutal crime and needs someone to explain to her, this is what's going on legally, this is, you know, these are the dangers that are out in front of us, and really more importantly, I'm going to stand up for you and I'm going to keep you safe, and we're going to make sure that you get what you need in order to heal from this trauma, and she knows it because she's lived it, in her own parallel way. So I think that that found family piece, and then of course Tyler is right there backing Chloe up as she backs up this young girl. So it's really this triangle of the three of them forming a unit, and they all have each other's backs, and
Yeah.
that made the romance so much better to write for me because I just knew they have each other's backs. They are there for each other. And so not only is he a protector hero, but she's a protector heroine. And that's another undercurrent. I do that a lot
Yeah.
with my characters. They protect the people that they love, period, not just the character
Yeah.
in the book. So I think that the found family aspect of it is really a strong undercurrent for this book and all my books, really. I mean, you've got a series of firefighters, of course they're gonna have these bonds. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll switch gears just a little bit here. And our readers, our romance readers, they love their tropes in their books. And so I always like
me
to
too.
ask, yes, me too. It's no judgment, nothing like that here.
Oh, all my favorite tropes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I have a
all
list.
great. What are two or three tropes that readers could look forward to in Spark?
So with Spark, firefighter romance, protector hero and heroine. There's that older brother's best friend vibe where I like to call it "Oops, we kissed once and we liked it." So that
Yes.
they have kind of a
Yeah.
little, but there's a friends to lovers aspect of it too because they've known each other for so long. There's a
Yeah.
bumpy conflict kind of in the beginning where they had a misunderstanding that it's not by any stretch an adversaries to lovers kind of thing, but there's a little tension in the beginning between them.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think friends to lovers feels accurate, and then like the forced proximity of them having to work together for a common goal and be in each other's paths. And they are also best man and maid of honor at this wedding for two people that they care about very, very much. They have to plan this wedding together, which kind of is leads to a wound that Tyler has from his past. So
Yeah.
he's got a little emotional stuff going on there too that she helps walk him through. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was more than one or two, but I tend to go
That's
trope
great.
heavy on my books because tropes and micro tropes, I think they're just the most fun. So
Yeah, no, I love it when an author trumps the hell out of a book. So, or tropes the hell out of the book, I should say, tropes.
yep.
No, that's great. No, that's great. So, I always do like to ask too, if you have read a recent romance book, any subgenre that you really, really enjoyed and would recommend, and if you'd like to share that.
I have a I'm a big reader. It's the best research ever. So let's see. I read Kate Meader has a really great hockey series, and I just read Rebel Bride not that long ago. She started a new sub-series off of her Rebels hockey, Rookie Rebels series. I let's see. I am reading an Emma Lord rom-com right now, The Breakup Pact, which is adorable, and I am enjoying it so much. Romantic suspense. Cynthia Eden just had a book out, When He Defends, that was
Oh.
wonderful. Jenny Bernard has a book coming out next week, I think. And I'm gonna blank on the title. Oh my gosh, she does firefighters too. And so I have that on my stack. I haven't read it yet, but that's my next to look forward to.
All right.
But yeah, no, I keep track of those on BookBub and Goodreads because I just otherwise I wouldn't keep track at all. I The stack is like so
I
tall.
know. There's
But so
so
many
much
good
good stuff
books.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have a ritual that you do that helps you get into the writing mindset, or do you just get to your
Mhm.
desk and and get at it?
I am very, very, I have my process and I don't like deviating from it. So it's so funny. Ritual feels like a good word for this. I am an early bird. I know I'm probably one of 6 people in the world who is an early. Like
Me too.
I'm up. I
Yeah.
was up this morning at 4:20.
Oh, that beats
It's
me. I was up at 5:30.
yeah, I mean, like that's usually
Yeah.
actually that's kind of more my speed. My one of my naughty dogs was awake
Uh,
early this morning, so so we went downstairs into the office, and I will just sit in my chair. I will have my coffee with me. I write first thing. I open the manuscript first. I don't do anything before that.
Smart. Very smart.
Um,
Yeah.
well, and sometimes it's bleary. Like the first handful of things that I write, I will usually have to go back and and edit. But I'm an early writer, and then I do my other tasks later in the day. And I have a day job, so I have to kind of
Mhm.
split.
Yeah.
I do my writing early in the morning, my day job, and then I come back and do other
Yeah.
things. But it's got to be dead quiet, so quiet, and that's the other reason I like the mornings. I can't have background noise, I can't have music, I don't the distractions will just I have my brain will go all the directions. Yeah, just I sit in my comfy chair. It's not glamorous at all, but it is really just great time for me to kind of spin and get my story done. And one of those people, I have a hard time not working at my desk. So
Mhm.
I created a space that really works for me for comfort. Have done it and I will do it, but I do not like to take my laptop on the go. It's that's harder for me to get comfortable and enough to be able to, unless I'm on a writing retreat and I've got like a space that I create there. I will say Sparks outline, the big outline where I finally got it right, was actually in a hotel room. I rented a hotel room for 3 days and just didn't come out for the
Oh,
whole three
wow.
days. And so
Yeah.
that was written at a hotel desk. But
I've heard
um,
other authors do that, and I have not tried that yet. I might try that sometime. Just go and lock
yeah,
myself away someplace, and so you
yeah.
don't have any home type
Right?
distractions, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, there's no laundry to switch, there's no dog to walk, there's
exactly.
no, and my
Yeah.
kids are adults now, and so it's a lot less of a distraction here. But it is really, really nice because I turned off the Wi-Fi. I mean, I didn't,
Ah,
until the evenings,
yeah.
and then I turned it on because I was, doing kind of other things and like writing newsletters and things like that. But during the day, my writing process was and I edit as I go. So
Yeah.
I will write my bless my editor because she puts up with this. I will hang on to chapters until I feel like they're ready. And it's a while. It's I don't do really a zero draft. I don't first draft and edit. I do a chapter and then I edit and then I edit
Yeah.
again and then I edit again and then I move forward. So it's a very linear process in that way where I
Mhm.
have to get
Mhm.
it because if I don't get it right, then I don't know what's happening next. So
Yeah, I'm very, very similar, too. I'll get to about 20, 25,000 words, and I have to go back and start at the beginning and, work
Mhm.
through it again, kind
Yep.
of thing. And I just keep doing that in little chunks. But once I get it all done, I do go back and edit the
Oh
whole
yeah.
thing a couple more times just because you get away from it for a few days and that sort of thing.
Right.
But
Well, then I can
yeah,
see it better. Yeah, if I take
yeah,
that like overnight,
yeah,
I'll take the breather, or over a weekend, I'll take the breather, and then I'll
yeah.
go back to it. And that's when I weave in things like the Easter eggs, and I make sure that they're in the right place. And I have gone back to change Easter eggs before, where I put
Yeah.
them in and then went, oh, that that's not. Typically for me, it's timeline stuff. I will put babies and weddings and things where they don't belong sometimes because like after the fact I'm like, oh no, this happened. And yeah, I just so it's not usually plot heavy, suspense heavy things. It's usually kind of those details that I know people are looking for. But and please don't ever timeline me because I can tell you right now my timelines are not quite reality based timelines. When I say 2 years ago, it's kind of
Yeah.
a, oh,
It's more
readers,
of a
please don't do that to
guideline. It's
me.
more of a
Yeah.
guideline, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Don't. If we counted back and ages too, where if I say a character, generally I will keep close-ish. I
Yeah.
won't make a character 27 and then in the next book 32. But I don't always, my characters are sometimes kind of frozen at a certain age and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard unless you have a very detailed series Bible that you stick to
Mhm.
religiously. It's tough to keep it all straight for sure.
And I do, and I still manage to, to kind of,
Oh,
hiccup a little
yeah.
bit here and there, but yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. Well, before we go, can you give us a hint of what's coming up next?
Oh, so I am actually actively plotting Smolder, which is the third book in the Remington Rescue Squad series. And it features a character who was on Rescue Squad and is now a behavioral analyst, works with the police department, but
Okay.
is also very closely knit in with the Rescue Squad group. And his name is Dallas Garrity. And of course, because this is true Kimberly Kincaid fashion, he appeared way back for the first time in 2018 in one of the Station 17 books. But we've been waiting a long time for him, and he is due. And I just started plotting the suspense in detail today, and I will weave the romance around it.
Yeah.
Usually I go the other way and I have the romance in my head first, but for some reason the suspense on this one was really just chattering in my ear. And it is going to be a wild ride. It's a second chance romance. There's a lot of feelings going on there, a lot of action adventure. And every once in a while, I get a book that really tugs at heartstrings, and I think this is going to be one of those.
All right.
I think that their relationship is just going to be really, really, really fun to unfold. So I am, and of course, because again, it's me, there will be a lot of steamy kissing too. So
For sure. Well,
everything.
folks, be sure to order your copy of Spark today. Let me see if I can get
Oh
this
yeah,
up here, right?
I
Yeah,
know.
it's
I love this
yeah.
cover so much
Yeah,
too.
it's great. It's great. Absolutely great. You're gonna love the nasty villains in this story, the off the charts sexual tension, and I absolutely love the sweetness of Tyler whenever he was making sure Chloe kept up her blood sugar level. He'd bring her little treats. It was just
Oh,
so,
cinnamon
so
rolls.
good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
my
cinnamon
favorite.
rolls. It was great. Well, you can check out Kimberly's website at kimberlykincaid.com. Kimberly, what social media platform are you most active on?
I think let's flip a coin between I have Facebook. I have an active Facebook following, and my Instagram and newsletter too is one of those biggies that I do a lot of bonus scenes. I do a lot of behind the scenes looks and things like that. That will go first to my newsletter, and then they go into my Facebook group on my Facebook page and to my Instagram. So and you
All
can
right.
check all those out.
All right, great. All right, wonderful. Well, Kimberly, thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun, and congrats again on your new release.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Many thanks to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Undercurrents of Romance. You can find more information about the show at tracydevlyn.com/podcast. Undercurrents of Romance is a proud member of the Authors on the Air Global Radio Network. I'll be back soon with another great romantic read. In the meantime, enjoy the adventure, everyone.